Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Today we are talking about Moments Made Monthly, my monthly little promotion where I help you to get photos off your phone and onto a page. So this page could be to go into a scrapbook album. It could also be to go up on the wall. You might choose to have a frame or a couple of frames that you pop it into every month, just to look at and celebrate some of the things you're doing every month. These are your everyday moments, your snapshots, maybe the book that you're reading for the month, or a little holiday you've been on, maybe just your favorite picture from that. It could be someone that you haven't seen for a long time, having coffee with them. It could be lots of different random things, letting us get a little glimpse into your daily life and what makes you special. So what we are using this month for my example is the Lovely Blossoms Suite collection. Now what you can do is, if you're interested in this program, is you choose to join up. You can subscribe for 6 months or for a year. You can just join month by month, and you get to get the instructions for the layout that I'm putting together and hints and tips, including this video. The instructions come via email, and I share with you what I have used to create it, but you can be using up your stash as well. So it can be a really great stash busting option for you. So you can see the beautiful colors we're working with this month. It's got the lovely neutrals, with a little bit of greens and blues in there, and then this lovely soft pink as well, which comes as a little pop. I actually haven't used the pink in my layout, but I'll just show you a few ideas of how you might choose to bring that in as well. Okay, so this collection is called the Lovely Blossoms collection. And the actual cardstock I'm showing you here is the Currently Loving two-tone cardstock, which ties in with the collection. There is a Lovely Blossoms Designer Series paper, and then the sticker sheet. The paper I have almost used entirely, so I've got a few little pieces here I can show you. So we've got this lovely one here that's got this beautiful floral on one side, and on the other is that petal pink, that lovely soft pink colour. So there's the two of those. We've also got a paper pack that has got, I have got such a tiny little piece left, but I can show you here. It's got this little white flower with a lovely, we call it crumb cake, this soft brown in the background, and a little lovely white flower. This is what I've actually used as the base of my layout, because I just love that pattern so much. It's very neutral, but it's just got a little bit of interest. And on the back of that is this Secret C pattern, so the nice symmetrical kind of diamond grid. So those are another sheet of paper that's in the range. Then there's this lovely one that's got the cloud cover in a two-toned effect in stripes. And on the opposite side of that is a cut-apart sheet. So cut-apart meaning that you can cut some of the designs that have been pre-made into either 6x4s, 3x4s, or there's even some 2x2s along the base as well. So you can cut out these lovely, more decorative elements to use to decorate your layouts with. So I'm using this little collection. I think it's beautiful. I'm not actually using the sticker sheet, but when I show you a few ideas, you might sort of think about how we could bring in this rather than maybe bringing in stamping if you're not a big stamper, not a big fan of it. Okay, the other things that I'm bringing in is the Moody Palette glossy dots. So these actually do tie in with the suite. There is, let's just see if you can see it. You can't really see it that well, but there is lovely soft white, the cloud cover. You've got the, what's that? Oh, I've just had a blank what it's called. The olive colour. What do we call it? Old olive. And the Secret C, the deep blue. So they're lovely dots that will be usable many times over through the months, and I tend to try and choose items that I know you'll get good use out of. So that's the one that I'm using there to add a little bit of a sparkle and shine. And then for quick crafting, and this is what I've used on the one I'm showing you today, I've used this little set of Covered in Flowers accents. So they're punch out dies, and you're not seeing them. I've actually used them all. This is just what was left over. So all of these different shapes have been punched out, but they're made out of this color, this sort of creamy color. On one side, it's kind of got an antique-y white feel to it, and on the other side, it's a little bit crisper, but still a bit of a cream. It's still a bit of a cream. It's got, but this side has a sort of smoky element to it, which is actually the side I did use in this case. These are great. They punch out beautifully. They've got a little bit of stiffness to them, so they hold their shape really well, but they are beautiful little designs. So that's what I'm using. Right, so let's see the layout that we are putting together. I'm not going to do the whole class of putting it together. That is, all the instructions are found in the sheet you get if you've paid to join the subscription. So you have these instructions that give you the basic outline, and then they on the second page look at how you can elevate the page with lots of little tips and the products that we've used. So that is available for those that have purchased the subscription. Here is the actual layout though. It's rather lovely. You can see how those lovely tones from the paper range tie in together really well. I haven't, as I said, brought in the petal pink in this case at this point in time, but you could bring that in to soften it if you like that shade as well. But just that little covered in accents piece that I showed you before, this little piece here that I've punched out, you can see if I bring it up closer, I've used that to accent around the edges of some of my embellishments. So I've used the more antique side of it there, and then on the left hand side I've used it around the title. So it's sort of drawing your attention to sort of three spaces on my layout, that rule of triangles, the three. So I've got one around the title, and I've got another one that's accentuating this embellishment cluster. So that's how I have pulled in a little bit of embellishing without bringing in too much stamping. For those that are a bit more into quick layouts, that's how it all works. Now the other thing you'll notice is my cut apart. So I have used a 6x4 piece here with one of those decorative elements that were on the cut apart sheet. This could be another photo. It's just a 6x4 slot, so you could put another photo here if you wish to have more photos on the page. And this one here is a 3x4, which I've actually used another pocket piece. It was just that lovely old olive colour with a little diamond through it. And then the third one over here I have used, it's actually one of the pocket pieces as well, but I have fussy cut it out. So I've used scissors just to go around the oval shape and pull out the leaves. And that's just added a little piece to our cluster down the bottom, which is really a nice, easy way to decorate. So that's how I have pulled in a bit of decoration to this page so that it is nice and quick and easy to get it done in the hour, like we try to do with our pieces. Now, those that want it and are able to either visit me or send through the cost of a postage stamp, I can send you the cut file for the month. Sorry, I didn't have it right beside me. So the cut file will come like this. So I use my Cricut machine to cut these out, and the little punch outs are in there as well. So you can actually do another February with the little punch outs. You can choose which one you prefer. But there, I did include them all because the little inner pieces that you'll need for the R and the B and the A, etc. are in this little bag as well. So you've got everything in there, so be very careful when you pull it open. That is the title. What I've also done is I've backed the open piece with some of the stripy paper. So I've bought whatever you use down here in this part of the layout, I have brought it up and backed behind the title. So there's just a little faint cloud cover stripe going on behind there. So that's just a nice little easy option. Now, a few ways that we have elevated this already on this page before you get into too much stamping is that instead of just in my page and the standard instructions, I just use the decorative piece of paper as my backdrop. Here you can see I have got that there as my backdrop, but I have allowed it to have a little bit of a white frame all the way around the edge. So I have just trimmed it down slightly to give myself just a 1/4 inch frame. That means I need to take 1/2 inch off at this end so that there's a 1/4 there and a 1/4 there, but only 1/4 inch off this side, so there's a 1/4 on the outside. And if you want to, you can cut it right down to and conserve a little bit of paper because it is just butting in. To do that, you do need to put white cardstock behind your project. So that's the first little thing you can do, just to slightly elevate it. It always looks really nice with that bit of framing. The second thing you can do, I've used the stripy cloud cover here, and I've used that dark navy. It's called our Secret Sea little diamonds. But if you were to have the sticker sheet, you could pull in instead either a bit of the petal pink strips in that instead of that 1/2 inch that's there, or there's 2 stripy Secret Sea strips of stickers that you could use in that place as well, just to bring in something a little bit different to the page. Also, if you're not using your pocket pages or your little, to cut out these pieces, you could be using some of the stickers that are in the sticker sheet. So I could pop that sticker sheet over there, and I could create my own little cluster using some of these beautiful little flowers and leaves here and create my own little effect. So the stickers are a quick, easy way as well to do your quick decorating. Also, with this type of notion of snapshots throughout the month, these numbers are going to be really helpful if you want to denote which one sort of happened on what date, or just in order. You might have, this is number 1 photo, this is number 2, this is number 3, and then in your journaling spot you can say number 1 is this day, number 2 is this event, so you can actually use these numbers as well. So the sticker sheet's quite useful for this project. Right, another couple of things that I have done. I have pulled in this set. So this stamp set does come with the suite of products as a scrapbooking stamp. It's called the Currently Loving. It's got the word currently large, and then it's got all these lovely other options in terms of script. So currently reading, currently making, currently watching. So I created my title saying Currently Loving Life using this lovely font from this scrapbooking stamp. So that's a little option. I use Secret C there. So I pulled that one in, and then I also had a bit of fun with my journaling box. So I created my own little pocket card here by stamping on a smaller piece some lines and this lovely frame, and then I've pulled in the little flowers that are in here because they're very similar style to the little flowers in the background. They work really well, but you could do the more rectangular framing if you prefer that look. And you can put any stamp in the corner. They've given us 4 very cool little themes, but you could put in another little stamp you've got on something else. So for example, on this one, I've got this little tiny repeated image. I could repeat stamp that around if I wanted to. So you can certainly pull in other stamps to decorate this one as well. And I do love that it's got the journaling lines there, which makes life really easy. I've just masked them off so that I can just stamp in the shorter area. Right, so that's a couple of things that I have pulled in. Now I also, for those that enjoy doing a little bit more to their pages, this bundle would be perfect for you because it's got exactly the same kind of look and feel. It's got a lovely die set. The dies are quite standalone and they cut out, let me just pull them out for you. They cut out lovely borders and lovely detailed textured flowers. So I have used this on a few cards so I can show you what it looks like. You can see on this card here, using the same paper, I have just cut from white both the decorative piece and the outline piece and layered them up so they look a really good solid embellishment that really stands out. I could have highlighted this piece with a little bit of blending to pull in a bit of color before I put the white border around the outside. There's lots of options with it. I have used it again on this one, the same card design, so you can see it just in other colors. That's still using the white, but I've pulled in the little leaves that are in here too to dot them around. Now I have also used this set just with the little flowers. There's a lovely little one that's a standalone one. You can do that as well. And it's also got these lovely little banners for stamping. So that's quite sweet as well. And on this card here, this is one of those bookbind type cards that just open out, 3/4 of the way across. Quite like those. I've used them as a background sort of tucked around behind the circle. So that is quite a lovely effect. Another element you could bring in is this. So if you wanted to do or add some more photos to your pages or have a little bit more decoration or hide your journaling, you can use a 3x4 flip flap and pop it in and have an extra little photo in there, have an extra photo in lots of places if you want. But I've used this die, which is such a lovely cute look. It's a die cut, and I've just cut it so it's the same size as a 3x4. So that's just adding more of the same effect, look and feel, using a bundle. In this case it was all the dies there, but you could also bring in the stamp set as well, which, what have I done with it? Oh, it's hiding underneath. That's what I've done with it. To stamp colors. So these ones here can give that really lovely watercolor effect. So I could bring in the petal pink by stamping the flowers in petal pink with the lovely outline, perhaps in Secret Sea, and that would look absolutely beautiful and a little bit more true to life, you know, than some of these quick and easy options. So those are a few little extras that I think work so beautifully with this range that you could bring in. Okay, now I just wanted to also show you that, of course, I've used some larger photos here. I've used your 3x4 sizes, and I've still stuck to some 3x3s. Now, you don't need to do that. Okay, I'm going to pull in some photos now, and I've got a few printed out large. So I've got, oh, where are my large ones? There's a large one, there's a large one, and there's a large one. And then I've got some smaller ones. So let's just work with the large ones first. I really love that setting. That's my son in the spa, just having a nice evening. He has an evening soak almost every day, so I can pop that one in there. That looks lovely. And this is my other son using the barbecue, getting ready for going flatting. He's taken our old barbecue with him, so that's just perfect. I'll just have to squeeze that in, but that's going to be a really nice spot there. But I've got another one that is too big and it looked too, I wasn't going to be able to cut it down to a little 3x3. So I've actually decided I'm just going to trim this one down a little bit here. So I can still do a 3x6 in that patch without upsetting the whole design. So let's just pull this in. It is, I am pretty much cut at the bottom. I can't go too much lower, so I'm just going to cut it off the top. But I'm just going to slice that little bit away. I can still see the Mount scenery in the background. This is just going for a bit of a Sunday stroll. And we can pop that in there. In fact, I might just trim very slight more off so I can get that nice little border going on. Oh, let me make sure it's straight. And now I can get a lovely little white border happening around there, and that will slot in perfectly in that spot. Now, this is how I print my smaller photos. I print them as 2 onto a single 6x4 photo. So here's some other fun ones that we've got going on. That my husband and daughter were overseas together in Europe, so we need to have one shot of that at least. So I might even do that as my 3x4 down the bottom. So I'm just literally going to cut that one in half, and that will sit down here. I'll just move that out of the way for the moment. So that's going to work beautifully. But for the rest of them, I need to get them a little bit smaller to fit into their slots. So I've got 4 spots. So let's just do a couple of others. I'm going to do a little 3x3 here. This is me in the pool. Summer's day. It doesn't happen too often that I hop in the pool, so that's kind of a fun one to capture. Now where did I put the rest of my photos? Under here? Oh, over here. That's where I couldn't find them. My son started at Woolworths only last week actually, but it was in February, so let's just pull that one in. That's an important one. Let's see if I can get that down to 3x3 without taking too much of the vegetation away. So no, that works really well, so we can chuck that one on there. And then I have got, oh, my daughter did a lot of baking and fun things with her friends. Actually, that's quite a fun one. That's her going to athletics. They had put wigs on, and they'd done handprints all over their white t-shirts and the colours of their house, and all really for a bit of fun at athletics. So let's again, all I'm doing is trimming this down to 3x3, or even just very slightly under, so that could be one stuck over there. Still got one more spot, and I think it would be actually worth getting my son, who moved into his flat, first time flatting. Lots of things happening in February, so let's pop that one in. 3x3 is going to lose a bit of his room, but that's okay. It's still the whole effect of him in his yet to be unpacked room. It's a little bit of a mess in this photo. This is before he'd finished it up, and that could go in there. In fact, we might just split that one up so that he's not side by side. So one thing I will note here is that when I'm doing my photos, because they're all from different days, and the layout style is that they're all kind of beside each other, I'm making sure there's a little border between each. So there's just that little element of differentiation so that you're not sort of having everything tie into itself. If these were all joined up, they kind of blend and you feel like it should all be the same day. And we know that this is all about snapshots, so we're just going to have that tiny little bit of a white border around, and that just helps to differentiate it. Now I have got my spot for journaling. As I say, I've got some more photos I could bring in. I could pull in another photo in the back of that and bring this one in, because I really like the look of that one as well. and I can just number my photos or just have a little note under there. If I need to put more journaling in, I could put in 2 flip flaps in this spot and then have an extra spot for some more journaling. If you want to see this paper used in a different way, we actually use the set for scrapbooking class, a technique and tips class in February. This here is using the same colors. It's got actually pulled in that stamp set that I showed you with all the words, and I put the words down the bottom here. They're actually very light, but I've just done them in a light kind of goldy brown all the way through. So that's another fun way of just filling in a bit of white space. There's lots of random stamping. I've pulled in all the rest of my little punch outs on here. Oh, actually there were a few leftovers. So those are going well, and this paper I created myself using that stamp set that I showed you before. So I've stamped the outline multiple times in all different directions, and then I've just pulled in a little blending brush and done a little bit of blending into the centers of the flowers with some green, and then a couple of sort of colored pens just to fill in the center. I could have used the stamp to do all that because there is little stamps here to fill it all in. So I could use this stamp here to fill in the colors, but I chose just to do a bit of blending to make it look soft. And I've pulled in also a brand new product coming this week. Actually, it is this week on Tuesday, and it's the wood grain papers, which I've cut in circles throughout. So you can see this is a lovely paper range for just being very neutral and very soft. So look at the colours of this top I was wearing seems to work in quite nicely with it. The flowers from the Rose Garden in Hamilton, from the Hamilton Gardens, works in beautifully with it as well. So, you know, this paper is going to work nicely for whatever photos you've taken in February. So if you're looking for another paper pack, but however, look through your stash. You might have something that's just perfect to give you that background effect, and you can pop all your snapshots together. So I hope that's given you a few ideas on how to get started. Oh, one thing I will say is, depending on how busy your paper is, I like to just differentiate the paper by using sponge daubers and going down the edge. So these papers have, the busy paper has got Secret C, and I've sponged it all the way down just so that I know that it's giving me a little bit of differentiation from the slightly patterned paper beside it. So that's just a little something too that I like to do. Okay, well, I hope that gives you a starting point for your February snapshots. As always, I can't wait to see what you put on yours. It was lovely seeing those that got shared in January, giving us a glimpse into your life, but also at how wonderful the layout looked in different papers. That was very fun too. And don't forget to add a bit of bling at the end, just to give your page a little bit of something to finish it all off. Hope that's helpful. Enjoy seeing what you've done, and have a fabulous month capturing all your little snapshots for our next layout next month. See you all soon. Bye bye.